At 9:43 a.m. Friday, October 10th, 2025, the ground off Davao Oriental began to convulse. What started as a low rumble beneath the Philippine Sea erupted into one of the strongest earthquakes in Mindanao's history. A magnitude 7.4 shock centered 58 kilometers northeast of Manay at a depth of 23 kilometers. Within seconds, floors rippled, windows shattered, and concrete screamed. Across Davao City, office workers fled buildings as alarms howled. In Manay, Baganga, Lupon, and Cateel, walls split apart and roofs caved in. Power lines whipped, glass rained, and terrified residents poured into the streets. But nature wasn't finished. 7 hours later, a second quake struck. Magnitude 6.8, ripping along the same stressed fault line. Already fractured structures groaned and gave way. More than 1,100 aftershocks followed in the next few days, dozens strong enough to rattle nerves and foundations alike. By nightfall, 7 people were confirmed dead, crushed beneath collapsing walls or struck by falling debris, and 395 others injured, many with fractures and head wounds. Hospitals overflowed. Doctors set up field tents outside cracked emergency wings. Families searched for relatives among the chaos. In Davao City, one hospital wing was evacuated as cracks spread across its walls. In coastal towns, patients were treated in parking lots beneath makeshift tarps. The tremors were over, but fear lingered in every heartbeat. Across Davao Oriental and the neighboring Caraga region, 2,155 houses were hit. 298 collapsed completely, while 1,857 were partially destroyed. The cost of infrastructure damage exceeded 100 million pesos, according to the Philippine news agency, PNA. Entire neighborhoods were reduced to skeletal frames of concrete and rebar. Among public assets, 273 buildings, including municipal halls, schools, and courts, were damaged or condemned. 32 road sections cracked or caved in. 7 bridges collapsed, cutting off vital lifelines for rescue trucks and relief convoys. The sea. The quake devastated the education system. 575 schools reported damage, with repairs projected to cost over 2.2 billion pesos. Classes were suspended in 1,006 schools, affecting 1,648 students and 9,585 teachers. Many classrooms became shelters for the displaced, their walls lined with families who'd lost everything. Even 36 trial courts closed for safety inspection. Justice and education both paused, fragile under the same cracked ceilings. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, NDRRMC, confirmed the scale. 125,283 families, nearly 491,258 people affected across Davao region. Thousands crowded into evacuation centers. Others slept in open fields, clutching children under thin blankets. Food, water, and medicine streamed in from nearby provinces, but deliveries stalled as roads and bridges gave way. In remote barangays, survivors trekked to kilometers through broken ground, carrying salvaged belongings in buckets of water. Come on, people, go. That I agree saying that nothing it's a big old people. Along the eastern coast, the sea suddenly receded, a warning sign that froze hearts. Within minutes, Phivolcs and international agencies issued tsunami alerts. Warning of waves up to 1 meter high. Sensors in Tandag, Surigao del Sur later recorded only a 30-centimeter rise, and hours after the alert, Phivolcs lifted the warning. No major wave struck, but the fear remained etched in memory. As darkness fell, thousands refused to re-enter their homes. Families camped in parks, schoolyards, and roadsides. Every aftershock sparked screams. Children cried at the faintest vibration. Flashlights and candles flickered across fields where streets once hummed with life. The quake had shaken not just buildings, but the sense of safety itself. You know, guys, you saw that, guys? What's that back by season? By dawn, military units, Coast Guard vessels, and volunteer rescuers were on the move. Search dogs sniffed through debris, while helicopters ferried supplies to isolated mountain towns. Temporary shelters rose beside cracked highways. Doctors and nurses worked sleepless shifts beneath tents. Psychological support teams helped children coping with trauma. The NDRRMC placed the region on red alert, activating nationwide coordination. Government and private groups launched donation drives, and discussions began over a Build Back Better fund to repair critical infrastructure. Transparency and speed became urgent demands as survivors watched slow convoys roll in. Jesus! Jesus, Lord. When morning light returned, the devastation was clear. Twisted steel frames of classrooms, fissured roads, battered boats, and collapsed bridges dotted the horizon. In Manay City, inspectors declared multiple public buildings unsafe. Runways and airports across Davao region halted operations pending checks. Yet amid the ruins, resilience emerged. Neighbors guarded each other's homes. Teachers began makeshift classes in tents. Volunteers mapped damaged areas with drones and tablets. Guiding engineers and relief teams. Local police patrolled against looting, while small market stalls reopened, selling rice and batteries. The twin quakes rippled through the economy. Each fractured road became another obstacle to recovery. For a region still rebuilding from past storms, the blow was heavy. Yet communities pressed on, brick by brick. 7 dead, hundreds injured, nearly 500,000 lives disrupted. But behind every number stood a story. A teacher comforting children, a farmer salvaging a roof, a nurse refusing to rest. The October 10th double quake was not just a disaster. It was a warning of fragile infrastructure, of unprepared systems, of how seconds can divide safety from catastrophe. In Davao Oriental, as the dust settled and the aftershocks faded, people began to rebuild. Not just homes, but trust, courage, and hope. One brick, one heart, one day at a time.